your weekly view of young leaders taking big steps. This is Next Gen. Sponsored by PFI Western Wear, home of Boot Daddy. We are in the Meat Science Lab with Jasper County 4-H meat judging team. These guys just won state and they are prepping for nationals, which is coming up this fall. Boys, what first brought you together and kind of struck your fancy when judging meat?
Well, it all started with my brother. He did meat judging first, and when I was old enough, I went because he was doing it. And then I started inviting my friends, and they came along too.
So kind of a family tradition. Boys, are you his friends and you kind of just tagged along to see?
Yep. We kind of just got dragged into it by him. Didn't really know what we were going to start out doing. Didn't have a clue about it, but ended up on the team and getting better every year.
So I understand that there's two main components of the competition, and one of those is identifying meat, and there's nearly 100 cuts of meat coming from different species. So Brett, take me through the identification part of the competition.
So on identifying a piece of meat, you have 4 things you really look for. You have to look for the species, so by the coloring you can tell this is a pork. Then you go through the primal cuts and you have to decide what part of the body it comes from. So this is a loin chop, so it comes from the loin. And then the cookery method, you would decide if you cook it dry or moist.
Looks like the majority of our cuts today are pork. So take me through some of these and ID the species, the primal cuts, retail cuts, and how we cook them.
Right here we have spare ribs, which come from the cider belly.
I love a good spare rib.
Yes, always. You would cook that moist. It comes from the side or rib.
This over here would be a rib chop. It comes from the loin. You would cook this dry.
And there's pork, beef, and lamb, and almost 100 cuts in the 100 different retails in the ID competition. But you also are judging these and defining and determining that quality. Take me to the judging aspect of the competition.
So whenever you're judging pork, you're really looking for trim. You don't want a lot of fat on there. So in these two, this one has a lot more fat than the other one, and this one is quite a bit bigger, so this one would be placed over the other one.
Yeah. And what other identifying characteristics are you looking for when placing these meat cuts?
Especially in beef, is okay if I can address beef? Okay.
Yeah.
You want to look at the marbling, which, that's kind of what that is through there, the streaks of fat.
Because fat adds flavor, right?
Exactly, yes. You want a good amount of marbling throughout the cut or whatever you're looking at, and things like that. The size, you can tell also by the coloration of the meat. If it has a good color, then obviously it will place higher over something else.
Now you also have to defend your selections and give a set of reasons. So throw out some terminology you use to defend your placings when presenting the reasons to a judge.
You kind of throw out just why you placed one over the other. Just it had less fat trim, or you use marbling, those terminology that we already said. And you kind of just want to throw out bigger words that sound better, and it kind of gives a higher educated sound to your reasons.
Okay, now you guys have been practicing for months and months and you're preparing for nationals, so there's got to be a sense of camaraderie and ownership and pride when it comes to this competition. What have you been able to learn, and looking back on this experience in a few years, what will you take away from it?
For me, it would definitely be the real world experience that you get with all this. I mean, you learn first and foremost how to speak under pressure, because giving reasons is not always the easiest. It can be nerve-wracking. You learn critical thinking under pressure, definitely, because this is my 3rd year in the competition. It still is pretty stressful sometimes for me. I mean, I'm sure that wears off in time, but it does help a lot over time. In the future, this is good things to have, for future life lessons.
Now, you guys are learning real-world life experiences. Anybody interested in going into meat science as a profession?
I have thought about going into meat science and kind of been quality assurance, or just researching on meat and deciding what there is to improve, what we can do, and everything. So I've been looking towards being a meat scientist in the future, but there's plenty of job opportunities out there, being a butcher and other things. So
Now I know you're a smart young man, but you haven't done this alone. Who's helped you get to this point?
Mr. Rush, the Circocti FFA advisor, is letting us use his meat lab.
Mr. Whitaker from the Miller, he's the Miller FFA advisor. He has definitely helped a bunch in everything he's done.
What about you guys?
Cloud's me has done a really good job of letting us just come in and watch what they're doing.
and then Bob McNary with the Jasper County Extension
Coach.
is our coach, and he's really helped us learn everything that we need to know.